Knicks family, what's popping with you, ladies and gentlemen? I'm glad that you're here with me. We about to talk about this New York Knicks game tonight. The Knicks versus the Pelicans, and another big game for the New York Knicks. And these big games just keep coming and coming and coming and coming, ladies and gentlemen. And it's not going to stop. So get used to it. Get used to it. The Knicks versus the Pelicans. The Knicks will try to put together their first 4-game win streak of the season. They've had a couple of 3-game win streaks. If they can win tonight, this will be the first 4-game win streak. They'll go back to 2 games above 500. And then Dallas would be another big game where if they won that game, they'd be 3 games above 500. Small goals. We're sticking with the small goal theme, ladies and gentlemen. The Knicks versus the Pelicans tonight from the Smoothie King Arena. Oh, wait a minute. It's not arena. The Smoothie King Center in New Orleans. I got my man Andy with me. We're going to go ahead and break this game down, ladies and gentlemen. Andy, what's popping with you, brother? How you feeling?
What up, Sam? What up to the chat? Happy to be on here. Like I told you before we came back in, I'm happy that the shows now currently are at 3:30, so I can pop in. 1 hour difference for me is huge thing because basically the shows would end like midnight for me. I'm happy I could pop in for a little bit.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm glad you could be here with me. Big game tonight. Big game tonight. Is this game? Listen, a couple games ago, the games were a must win, right? Because the Knicks were losing games. They really needed to get a win in. They got that big win against Memphis. I really do feel like that win, the last 6 minutes of that Memphis game where the Knicks were down 13 and came back to send the game in overtime, that was so big for the season. Probably the most important 6 minutes of the season. Has to be. Because I feel like if we would have lost that game, it might have been downhill from there, for real. That was a big game.
Yeah,
but then pulled it out.
I think it was a really important game for RJ because he got basically called out by Anthony Edwards, a game or two before.
Yep.
And he turned on the switch, being clutch, right? So let's hope he can play this kind of ball in the clutch situations for us till the end of his career.
Yeah, no doubt. So is this a must win for us tonight?
For me, it's not a must win. I would be grateful for a win, but I think Knicks have a goal, and the goal is to make the playoffs. If they make the playoffs through the play-ins, the goal is going to be still achieved. So I think they sit comfortably in the 8th seed. But a win always is a win. It will get you higher in the standings, even if we don't jump at least, after this one game. But we still will be in a position to get closer to that 6th spot, which probably is like the goal for the guys that had, higher expectations and might be a little bit afraid of the play-ins. So I think, that internally, everybody's, thinking about that at least 6th spot in the standings, but they'll take anything from the top 10s just to be in the play-ins and to have a shot at making the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. I'll take anything.
Me too.
Now, I would rather be in the 6th seed. If I'm not in the 6th seed, then give me the 7th or 8th seed, right? Because in the 7th or 8th seed, you still got 2 chances to make the playoffs, right? So I would much rather be there. But if we end up being in the 9th or 10th seed, then, hey, we got to do what we got to do. And we got to fight our way out of that corner and find a way to get into that 8th seed, if we end up in the 9th or 10th spot.
Exactly.
The Knicks got a nice little cushion right now, but Indiana's playing well. Chicago doesn't seem like their upgrades have upgraded them. Just put it like that, right? Doesn't seem like they have.
I think more people expected Chicago to get on a roll way faster with Vucevic being there. I'm not sure if it's a chemistry thing or they're just thinking, that might be a perfect situation for them, Sim. They're going to be in the 10th or the 9th spot as highest. They're still going to be in the lottery, and they still can knock, one of the teams like the Celtics, the Knicks, and the Pacers, right? So you never know. There's only 2 games. So they might be thinking, okay, let's, try to get in the playoffs. But if we don't, we're still going to be in the lottery. So, they might be thinking like that.
Yeah. Could be. Ladies and gentlemen, please do me a favor. Subscribe to the channel. Ring that notification bell, so you'll be notified anytime I go live, drop a video, or post in my community section. You know the drill, ladies and gentlemen. Those who have been here, you know the drill. If you haven't been here, then you're new to the drill. All right? So please make sure you subscribe to the channel right now. Ring that notification bell. Let me get over here. My man Kev just entered the building. Right? His hat is no longer dusty. It's pristine. It's looking fresh. It's no longer dusty. That's what I'm talking about.
But I think Kev has a sepia filter on his camera. Look, Kev, this is the Knicks blue, bro. This is the Knicks blue.
Yeah. Hey.
My nephew, shout out to my nephew who doesn't know about this. I gotta get him on this. But my nephew Joseph, who got me this hat for Christmas. So it's new era. Got like that. Yeah.
Yes, I see the new era logo over there. I see the new era logo over there.
Exactly. Yeah. So shout out to him. This was 3 years ago. So there you go.
Okay. All right. Well,
I told you I have a word or something. See, now you've started something. So now I have to wear a different hat every time I come on. You know what I'm saying?
But what I'm saying, the dusty hat could have been a good luck charm.
No, man.
Could have been a good luck charm, man. I don't know. Could have been a good luck charm. Anyway, Kev, man, to you. Yeah. Is this a must win tonight? We've won 3 in a row. We're back 1 game above 500.
Well, first off, you can let this guy off. This guy right here, he doesn't even, let him off and everything. Is it a must win? I want to say it's a must win for the simple reason we haven't won 4 in a row yet for this season. So if we could do that, it'll be a big boost for us. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But for me, I would like to make this a must win just for our psyche, because what we did against the Lakers, that type of defense, if we could perfect that again, I mean, they've started something. They've really started something. They've started a trend now where we expect that defense, to happen, all the time, because they're capable of doing it. They're capable of doing it. What they did to the Lakers, you heard me. Before,
face the music.
Yeah,
face
man.
The music.
Absolutely. I was wrong. I was dead wrong, and I've admitted. I admitted that. I was dead wrong. I did not expect. I did not expect the front court of the Lakers to be so invulnerable to us.
First of all, that's not a word, but go ahead. Go ahead. Continue.
I didn't want to point it out, but
Go ahead.
I did not expect what I saw out of the Lakers front court. I expected them to dominate us, and that's totally different. What didn't happen. So, and what that also shows me is how valuable our veterans are. And man.
Yeah, but you know what part of it is? What part of it is, I think, is teams that we haven't played, I think they get surprised by our defense.
They do.
It's like a punch in the mouth to them, like, oh, snap.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think they get surprised by our defense that is so tough. It's on a string a lot of times. Of course, we have defensive lapses. That's going to happen, right? Yeah. But it's on a string a lot of times. We close out well for the most part. We have nights. Obviously, we're gonna have nights. We have nights where we leave 3-pointers open, or we don't close out as effectively as we should close out. But for the most part, we play a really strong defense, and I think it shocks teams that haven't played us for the first time.
Yeah, and the thing about it also is, and I'm just starting with the front court with Noel and Taj. Those guys are just really providing a defensive anchor for us. And I'm just loving what I'm seeing out of the both of them, especially Taj Gibson. I want to give you something that Macri had said. Now, Taj is 35 years old. I don't have the points. I don't have the points or the minutes that he played in that game, but he had 6 offensive rebounds, something that we've been struggling with. He had 6 offensive rebounds, 2 steals, and 3 block shots. Check out this group of 35-year-olds at that time that did the same thing as he did. Like I said, I don't have the points, but did the same thing he did. Tim Duncan in 2014, he's the most recent. Marcus Camby, Dale Davis, Ben Wallace, David Robinson, Dikembe Mutombo, Kevin Willis, Robert Parrish, Charles Jones, and Moses Malone. That is a great stat line to be included, in this group of guys right here. I think I know Tim Duncan is a Hall of Famer. David Robinson. I mean, that's great. So for him to be doing this for us, Taj Gibson, I think that's incredible. For us going forward and everything. And that's what you call over-reliable.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Taj is he's never played with athleticism. His game has always been predicated off of fundamentals.
Basketball.
Fundamental basketball, positioning, using skill, that type of game. So, players like that, they can age well in the NBA, right? They can age well in the NBA because, they don't got to jump and be fast and use all these fancy moves, because once you reach a certain age, you can't do it no more. And if you have not developed the skill to play, you're in trouble. G-Man, what's going on, man? Appreciate you. Glad you're here. Love the throw you just put up back there.
Yeah, whatever.
Hey, Sims, thanks for having me, my brother. You know what I'm saying? But first of all, let's get the prerequisites out of the way right up front, right? I'm gonna use my grandmother always told me, if you don't have nothing nice to say about somebody, just don't say nothing at all. So what I'm gonna say is this. Somebody on this panel, and Andy, I love you, my brother. Salute, Andy. Salute.
I don't like where this is going, Sam. I'm just letting you know right now. I don't like where this is going.
But what I'm saying is, at some point, people have takes that are half of them are good, and then half of them we just go over to the ozone, and we want you to believe that there are there's a whole nother race living up under the rock in your backyard. That's all I'm gonna say. But I believe tonight, and Kev has some good takes, right? So I believe tonight, on a fundamental basis, that we need to continue to do what we've done for the last 2 games. Rotation is going to be key. There are three fundamental aspects to this game that we need to focus on: rebounding, lack of turnovers, and making free throws. Those 3 things right there, as we move through, I think that would propel us to more success in the coming days. Yeah,
okay, definitely.
Guys, hold on 1 second. I got to let the contractor in. He's working on my bathroom. 1 second. I'll be right back.
Whatever.
Okay.
Shut up.
So that's where all the dust came from for that hat.
That info.
I guess that's where all the dust came from. The hat he had on. That's where the dust came from. Don't even want to know why he got it. What happened with that bathroom. I can only imagine. I ain't gonna say no. I'll move on from there, Kev.
I hope he has another one though.
But when he come back, I'm gonna get him. Just so you know, when he come back, I'm gonna get him.
But we were just speaking about Taj Gibson, right? And how he has the ability, because he doesn't play with athleticism. He never did. His game can age well.
Yeah, facts.
When I look at Derrick Rose, and Derrick Rose is, he's playing okay. He's had some good moments. One thing that I noticed about Derrick Rose, I was talking with Tony Crow about this last night. I still he still can play with athleticism. I still feel like he's in this stage where I see him go to the basket and he can still jump, but because he's not going to go up and dunk it and do things where he has to land with so much pressure on his knees, right?
Right.
I feel like he's still at this point where he's learning, how do I play without my athleticism? I still feel like that in some ways with Derrick Rose. He'll jump up, but he's so high, he's got to bring it around to lay it in, right? So I feel like he's still learning some of the craftiness of playing without the athleticism. Although he has the athleticism, some of the athleticism is like, how do I go in between? So I noticed that sometimes when I'm playing with Derrick Rose, it's like he'll go and he'll get in the air because that's what he's grown up doing his whole life. Then he's like, oh, wait a minute, I got to do something different because I don't want to put this pressure on my knees. It's something that I can kind of see him grappling with. And I thought even when he was with us the first time, he was kind of grappling with it a little bit. I still feel like he's kind of grappling with that. But, that's the one thing about RJ. RJ doesn't play with a lot of speed and athleticism, plays with a lot of craftiness, and he's going to age well in the game, I think. He's going to age very well. So let me ask you, G-Man, is this a must-win for tonight?
Well, if most fans would tell you that every game from this game forward will be a must-win. I would say that more so than wins and losses, I want to see how the team progresses. That's my concern. We can win the game and play poorly, and then I feel like it's a loss. Even though it's a win, it's still a loss for me because I want to see us progress as we move closer to the playoffs. Because what we learn in these games is this, right? We learn what rotation works the best. We learn the strengths and the weaknesses of people that are in these rotations and where they contribute more. And if there's a situation that comes about, then that's not the skill set I need. I need this person over here.
Right.
And I said this earlier on Freezy's show. We talked about as we start getting into specifics as to a person's skill set, we may see Tibbs have to go deeper into his rotation into the bench. So you may get into a situation to where you're seeing Frank in the game, you're seeing Kevin Knox in the game. You just never know. Whoever has the hot hand and who's doing what they need to do in order to get us where we need to go. The short answer to your question would be this. I think every win from this point forward, based on where we are in the standings, trying to get out of this play-in situation and get back to the playoffs, this will be an important win. But for me personally, I want to see what progressions we make as a team.
Okay. And everything that you just said about the progression, right? And understanding where players fit, how and why. A lot of this comes along with consistency.
Facts.
Consistency of coaching and having players on your team. Because if you have, say Tom Thibodeau's coaching Julius Randle for the next 3 years, he knows how Julius Randle's going to react in certain situations. He knows, is he going to step up? Is he not? He understands this player gives Julius Randle fits. Julius Randle, he kills this player every time he plays against him, right? The same thing about RJ, the same thing about Knox or Mitch. That's really the importance of having consistency because you get to know your players. You know their strengths. You know their weaknesses. You know the ins and outs of what they like to do. You know what their personality is like. You start to understand how I can talk to this player, what buttons I can push.
Yep.
And a lot of people may not look at it this way, but when you look at this team right now, a lot of guys, Reggie Bullock, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Elfrid Payton, Mitchell Robinson, Kevin Knox, Frank Ntilikina, these guys came back from last year. Right? So they have a little bit more consistency. And next year, they're going to have a little bit more consistency. And now with the same coaching staff, they'll understand a little bit more of the buttons to push. So this process, what they're going through right now is still, while we're in a playoff race, it is still a learning process because you're learning how these guys are going to react under this type of pressure. Right? And can they respond? Can they rebound? Can they make adjustments when it's necessary? How your coaching staff reacts, all of that. So, yeah, it's definitely an important time for the Knicks. I know a lot of people would say every game is a must-win because of where we are in the standings and it's so tight. And it's definitely important, though. When you look at us right now in the standings, man, it's tight. We're at the 8th spot. We're 28 and 27. Charlotte, they've lost 2 in a row. They're now 27 and 26. Those games we got coming up against Charlotte, they're going to be important. We got 2 games against Charlotte in the next few weeks. And we lost the first one. That means we need to beat them twice in order to win the season series, because we may end up being, neck and neck with them in the standings. The Pacers, they lost their last game. They're 5-5 in the last 10, but they're 25 and 28. They're 2 games below us. And then the Bulls, 22 and 31. They're not looking like they're going to make that kind of run to get to the 9th spot or to get to the 8th spot. So it looks like, we're going to be battling with the Pacers, the Hornets, maybe Miami. Miami, they're at 28 and 26. We're going to be battling with these teams for that 6th, 7th, and 8th spot, And of course, we've already lost the season series to Miami. And Atlanta is beginning to build some separation. They're 30 and 25, 1 game ahead of Boston. They're beginning to build some separation in these standings. So I'm pretty sure what I do like, and we're talking about how this team is developing and learning in this process, in this playoff push, you hear the players talk about how they know and understand the positioning and where they are, right? And that, how the coaching staff is keeping them prepared for, everything that's happening. Even if they go out and lose a game, they understand the consequences of losing that game. And I think all of this for the people that like to tank and all that kind of stuff, this is important for RJ. It's important for Quickly. Even for Kevin Knox. This is an important time. For Julius Randle, it's an important time because they are learning how to prepare. Like really prepare. And like this is a precursor to the playoffs. And this is one reason why I kind of like this play-in, because you're going to look at in the play-in tournaments, it's going to be a lot of young teams if this continues to go forward. And so those young teams that are in that 9th and 10th spot, they get to go into a game where they at least feel a little bit of that playoff intensity. So if they don't make it this year, next year, they're like, yo, you know what? We better be ready. And then you get into the playoffs and you feel that playoff intensity. So this is going to be good and it's fun. I'm glad we're hitting this stretch, man. Glad we're hitting this stretch.
Let me ask you this question, Sam.
Mm-hmm.
So based on the roster that's currently constructed, who do you think will have the biggest impact as you get closer to the playoffs as far as preparing the team for that playoff mentality?
As far as the players preparing the team, Taj Gibson, I think is going to have he should have one of the biggest impacts as far as preparing the team for the playoffs. I'm not going to say Derrick Rose. There's a lot of people wants to say Derrick Rose, but Derrick Rose has kind of been in and out of the playoffs because of injuries, right? When he was with the Bulls, there were a lot of years where he wasn't in the playoffs because of injury. And then when he finally played with the Knicks and the Pistons and Minnesota and the Cavs, they weren't in the playoffs. Minnesota, maybe that first year, I don't know, but they weren't in the playoffs. So I don't know if he really has that playoff experience to impart on this team. You know what I mean? Andy?
Yeah, on this Derrick Rose leadership topic, I remember in one of these post-game or pre-game interviews, I think it was Rebecca Harlow, she asked him, how is his leadership skills translating to the team or something like that? And he said that he's basically taking a back seat currently, because I think it was like a week or 2 after he was traded to the Knicks. So he said that he's taking a backseat on the leadership thing. He's gonna, be talking if he's asked to, or he feels that it needs to be said.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking he understands the role. He doesn't think by any chance that he's the main guy here or whatever. So he's just staying in his lane if they're going to ask him, or if he really sees, for example, the young guys in the second row, the off the bench are doing something crazy, stupid or whatever, he's going to then voice his opinion. He's not going to be talking about the guys in the first, lineup or whatever, if he's not asked to do so.
Right. So I'm looking at Derrick Rose, and maybe he's actually played in more playoff series than I'm giving him credit for. He played in 2010. Played in 2010. He was in the playoffs in 2011, 2012, he played one game in 2012.
Okay.
All right. In 2011, he played a bunch of games. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, like 16, because they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. So in 2010, they were eliminated. In 2009, they were in the playoffs too. Okay, so in 2009, they were eliminated in the first round. 2010, eliminated in the first round. 2011, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals, so he has that experience. 2012, remember, he got hurt game 1 of 2012.
Right.
2013, he went to the second round. 2014, he got eliminated in the first round. 2015, they got eliminated in the second round, and then 2018 in Minnesota, they got eliminated in the first round. So he has more playoff experience than I gave him credit for.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
and I think moving forward, that's going to be important. Even if he's not on the floor, that experience speaks volumes, right? So if you have someone that has seen what you're going into, they can give you that precursor to kind of prepare you. But even if I could tell you all day, hey, listen, if you're on this stretch of road right here, right, and the speed limit is 55 miles an hour, and you got a heavy foot, and you always travel 65, at some point you're gonna get stopped. But the cop that pulls you over is understanding what the mindset is here, and as long as you're not disrespectful, you probably won't get a ticket. Yeah. But if you go out there and you're mouthing off because, hey, why'd you pull me over? And I've been told that I could go 65 and I'm good, then you don't get a ticket. So I transition that to say, I say all that to say this: Derrick Rose is more valuable, in my opinion, to the wisdom and the experience he brings to the team. The closer we get to the playoffs, to be able to impart that on not only the young players, but also those veteran players that have never been in a playoff situation. Because when you get in the playoffs, that intensity is ratcheted up. Like, unless you have lived it and understand what it is, you're not going to know. I can tell you all day what it's going to be, but as soon as you feel it, you'll be like, oh, this is what you were talking about.
Yep, exactly.
But if I have a precursor to understand what could potentially happen, then that my mindset is a little bit different at that point. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not to mention that I think, if I'm correct, it's only 5 players on the current Knicks squad that were in the playoffs. Even I don't think I'm counting John Henson, but I think it might be only 5 guys, and that's with Alec Burks, which was with Philly in the bubble last year, and Theo Pinson, he was with the Nets, and they barely got minutes, right? So that's a really, really, really lack of experienced team thinking about the playoffs, and like G-Man said, it's a great thing to have a guy like Derrick Rose, like Taj Gibson, that were there, and they're gonna get these guys under the wing and say, listen, the playoffs is another thing. You gotta prepare not only physically but mentally. Not even one possession in the beginning of the game can hurt us, at the end of the game. So this is going to be a totally different thing.
I'm going to tell you something that's really, really, really great for me right now, right? So small victories in life, right? So I love when Kev tries to talk and he's muted. I'm watching his mouth moving because I can't hear nothing that's coming out. I love it. See, he's still talking right now, and I can't hear nothing he's saying.
And I just want to correct myself. Derrick Rose did not play in 2013 or 2014. He was inactive due to injury. So, but still, he has playoff experience that he can impart. He can impart some of that knowledge on the young guys. Looking at tonight's game for the Knicks, doesn't look like we're gonna have anybody injured besides Mitchell Robinson, John Henson, I guess. Wow. For the Pelicans. All right, they got a host of guys that'll be out. Lonzo Ball, he's doubtful for tonight against the Knicks. James Johnson, he's questionable for tonight. James Nunnally, he's expected to sign a 2-way contract with the Pelicans. He probably wouldn't play anyway. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, He was diagnosed with a moderate left ankle sprain and will be reevaluated in 2 weeks. This was on April 6th. So he's going to be out for a little while. Right. And then Josh Hart, he underwent surgery to repair a torn ACL in his right thumb. And he's going to be re-examined in a couple of weeks. And that was also on April 6th. So Josh Hart, Nikhil Alexander Walker, they're both out. Lonzo Ball, it's possible he's doubtful for tonight. So he may be out. And James Johnson is questionable for tonight. So we'll see what their lineup looks like. Now, over the past couple of games, they've been starting Wes Iwundu in that shooting guard spot. Right, so we'd be looking at Eric Bledsoe, either Wes Iwundu or Lonzo Ball, Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, and Steven Adams. And of course, we got our regular Elfrid Payton, Reggie Bullock, R.J. Barrett, Julius Randle, and Nerlens Noel. Obviously, the two matchups that we're looking at, R.J. Barrett and Brandon Ingram, I think Reggie Bullock will probably guard Brandon Ingram, R.J. Barrett and Brandon Ingram, Julius Randle, and Zion Williamson. Those are the two big matchups right there, that small forward and power forward spot. I guess we'll start there, right? Because one of the keys that I have to the game is that R.J. Barrett and Julius Randle, they've got to offset Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson. We can't have those two guys can't have one of those guys having an off night tonight. I think we need those two guys to play up to their potential to offset Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson.
Great.
Yeah.
So let's start with Julius Randle guarding Zion Williamson. Everybody just sighs.
So because if you watch Zion's performance up until today, right? Any team that he's played, he's been able to play bully ball. And, people kind of get out of his way when he's going to the paint. And because they don't want, first of all, they don't want to be on a kid's poster like Andy got hanging on the wall behind him, with their face with the ball coming to the back.
Hey, I'll give you another one, G-Man. I'll give you another one. When he ripped, back in the Summer League, when he ripped the ball out of Kevin Knox's hand and dunked it on him as well. Remember that one?
Yes, sir. We don't want none of that. We don't want none of that.
None of that.
So my hope here is this. I hope that, and again, if you read my shirt, what does it say? Hope is not a strategy, right? Hope is not a strategy. Mm-hmm. So what I'm gonna tell you is this. My thought process is this. RJ has played with Zion their short college basketball career. So RJ knows Zion's tendencies and what he does and what he does not do. Now, Zion has been in the league for a hot minute, and he's picked up some new things that he can do and how he can get a shot off and whatnot. But I think that if RJ can impart that to Julius, that gives Julius a leg up. And my major concern is this with Zion. I'm hoping that he does not get our front court in foul trouble. That's my biggest concern, honestly. Because if him going to the basket, people get the happy hands and want to kind of swat things. You want to take the charge, and then you get a blocking foul. Then Noel is in foul trouble. Taj gets in foul trouble, and then you got Pele in the game. And we haven't seen him play more than about 5-6 minutes in the
2 minutes.
Yeah, the couple games that he's been on the squad. So I give Randall a leg up because he's a vet. But I still got some concerns. I do, but I don't know.
Zion reminds me of a Larry Johnson 2.0. That's how he reminds me. I think this is going to be like one of those classic Knicks Charlotte games when you had Larry Johnson going up against Charles Oakley. That's how I'm looking at it. But I think, of course, Randall is 10 times better than Oakley, and Zion is probably 10 times better than what Larry Johnson was, but he just has that build. So I just think we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. You play him, straight up and everything, and just come out. I'm put it this way. I'm not going to doubt my front line ever again. So whatever we'll have, I think it's not so much us trying to contain Zion, they got to contain Randall as well. So that's how I look at it.
That's true too.
Yeah, that's true because Zion, he'll probably have a little bit of trouble with Randall. Right? He should have a little bit of trouble with Randall. Of course, Zion can, he can take it out and shoot the three. Obviously he can be, lightning rod at the basket. I think one way that we can, he can handle the ball, but a lot of ways that they're going to get Zion the ball is some alley-oop type of buckets on the fast break. If we can limit their fast break, limit them running, we can stop them from getting Zion the ball on the break. If he wants the ball in the post and we're playing, tough defense, make that a tough pass into the post. There are ways that we can, maybe make it difficult with Zion. Coming into this game, and I'm not sure, like I said, with the Lakers, and just other teams. I think teams that haven't played us yet don't know what the Knicks defense is about yet.
Facts. I agree with that.
Right. And so it's kind of a surprise to them, and it could be, the same thing tonight because the Knicks play a really good team defense.
I'll tell you, the defense in the Lakers game was the best that I've seen it all season. I think that's the best I've seen it all season because they were getting steals. They were getting, they were holding their men down and everything. That was the best I've seen it. And so if we could do that again, which I know we can do, we're going to be a problem for a lot of teams.
So I would tell you this, Kev, and I agree to disagree. We did play good defense, but the Lakers had horrible offense. Horrible. Yeah. Had a gazillion turnovers. They didn't rebound at all. And, you look at the two big guys, the two big names that was supposed to be their savior. Right. Drummond and my man Harold. Yeah. They got shut out.
They did.
So again, I don't want to perpetuate a false narrative there, to where that was a game we did well based on what our opponents did, but I don't want us to play down to have that as a benchmark to what our performance was.
No, I agree. Yeah,
we have to get up to what the level of competition is for the team we're about to face now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that was a game. We got a victory. Move on. This is my next opponent here, and I need to study film on what you do, and I need to know that if your strength is going to your right, I need to take your right hand away. I need to force you to the left if I need to force you into a double team or whatever the case may be. Brandon Ingram and Zion Williams, both of them cannot have a good game tonight. We got to shut one of them. We have to shut one of them down.
Yeah. And look, when you watch the way that the Pelicans use Zion, it's very similar to the way that the Knicks use Randall. So we should know a lot of things that they're doing. He hands the ball off to Brandon Ingram. He pulls up and shoots a three, right? They, or they do that handoff type of game. He'll handle the ball, sometimes go down into the post and try to draw a double team and kick it out. Right? A lot of the same things that we do with Randall, they do with Zion. So we should be familiar with some of those things. Now, being familiar with it and stopping it, I think, are two different things. Right? Two different things. So, but we should at least be familiar with it and understand what we can do, understand what teams do to stop us, and then try to implement some of those type of things. Brandon Ingram, of course, he's another beast all by himself. He has the ability to create off the dribble.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Are you putting RJ or are you putting Reggie Bullock on him? I'll start with you, Andy.
I'm putting Reggie on him. And not only because I think Reggie is at this point a better defender than RJ, but I also want RJ to be more focused on the offensive end. And I know people are going to say that you need to be playing both sides of the court, but he's still too young to handle that. And I believe that we're going to have more from RJ if he's not going to have to think that much about on defense. Then again, I don't know that Onwongu kid that you said that's playing shooting guard, if he's one of those fast guards that comes off of screens and takes fast shots, that might not be a wise idea to put RJ on him. But you can't play three Reggie Bullocks and two Nerlens Noel at the same time. So
yeah,
Right.
yeah. I think I think putting Reggie Bullock on Brandon Ingram is going to be the best bet.
Yeah.
Try to listen, and Brandon Ingram he's not going to be as strong as Reggie Bullock, but of course he's going to be faster. He's more athletic. He's a little bit taller. He can shoot over top of him. But I think Reggie Bullock can, use some of his strength, to kind of, just give him trouble a little bit.
Is he a small forward? He's a small forward, right?
Yeah. But
so when he comes up, when Reggie goes to the bench, it's going to be Burks that's going to be sticking him, right?
Well, when Reggie goes to the bench, Reggie probably won't go to the bench until Ingram goes to the bench.
Right.
That's true.
When Ingram comes back in, Reggie will come back in. You know what I mean? Tom Thibodeau kind of does it like that. The tandem between Brandon Ingram and Zion, again, like I said, they'll use Zion sometimes to set a screen for Brandon Ingram or other guards and then catch Zion roll into the basket. Right? He's a better pick and roll player than Julius Randle as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely.
Right? He can catch it, get it, go in to dunk it. He can pull it up mid-range. Better pick and roll player than Julius Randle. They spread the floor pretty well to try to open up that screen and roll for Zion. Either him being on the ball or off the ball. Sometimes you'll see Zion bring the ball up and Steven Adams is setting the screen for Zion.
Steven Adams. I forgot to get him too. Man.
This would be something that Julius Randle has to deal with a little bit. Being able to, deal with that screen, figure out, are they going to fight over it or are they going to let Nerlens Noel switch off onto Zion Williamson, right? Because, Zion, Nerlens Noel will have the length. He does a decent job guarding, players out on the perimeter when he has to.
Right.
And then Zion, if he tries to take Nerlens Noel down into the paint, Zion he has the strength, but Nerlens Noel is 6'10", right? So that could cause a little bit of trouble for those guys there. We'll see, how Tom Thibodeau decides to do it. If he decides to switch on the Zion or have Julius Randle fight over that screen if Steven Adams decides to set that high pick and roll screen. It's going to be an interesting game. Interesting game because the Pelicans, they've got a high-powered offense.
They do.
High-powered offense. I think they average 115 points per game.
They do.
Right? And I know we've been holding teams. We normally hold teams below their scoring average, right? It seems like we always hold them about 10 points below their scoring average.
Yeah.
I feel like this is a team, because they can spread the floor out well, it's a team that could maybe give us a little bit of trouble. We'll see. They average 114.7 points per game. We average 105.4. They average 46.7 rebounds per game. That's one of the top rebounding teams in the league. We average 45.6. They average 26 assists. We average 21. We're both about 7.3, 7.4 steals. They average 4.4 blocks. We average 5. They average 14 turnovers. We're about 13. So they still take care of the ball. They shoot 48% from the field overall. They shoot 35% from 3 and 73% from the free throw line. Us, we shoot 45% overall. We shoot 37% from 3 and 77% from the free throw line. They average like 54 points in the paint. So we're gonna have to be on our game. We're gonna need Nerlens Noel and Taj to be ready to throw some stuff back.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Which they've been doing a good job of.
Which
at least,
they have been. Yes, they have. They have been. The Knicks average 45 points in the paint. They get about 15 second chance points. We get 13. They're like the first or second best rebounding team in offensive rebounding. They're the first best offensive rebounding team in the league.
First. And second in defensive rebounding.
And second in defensive rebounding. So, we got to be ready to hit these boards tonight. And a lot of that's going to be, a lot of the rebounding, Steven Adams, Zion Williamson, guys can rebound the basketball.
Yep.
They average about 14 fast break points. We average 8.7. Their leading scorer is, of course, Zion Williamson at 26.8 points per game. Steven Adams leads them in rebounds at 8.9. Lonzo Ball leads them in assists at 5.7, and Brandon Ingram leads them in blocks. Right, so we should be able to maybe get something at the basket. We'll see if, Steven Adams, Nerlens Noel should be a little faster than him, and maybe he's able to get a couple of oops at the rim. Obviously, Nerlens Noel is not going to dribble past him and go to the basket that way. We've seen him do it a couple times this year, but it's not something you're going to rely on. Nerlens Noel, by the way, is averaging 2.12 blocks per game, and it's growing by the game.
Well, he's number 3 or number 4 in the NBA right now?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah. Yep, it's growing by the game, man. Even he's even getting goaltend calls, because he's blocking so many shots. And I don't even get mad when he gets those goaltend calls. I really don't, because a lot of times when he's getting those goaltending calls, the person's he's right there about to make the layup anyway.
Right.
So every once in a while you might get one of those goaltending calls to go your way. So I don't get mad at it.
That's effort.
But some of the way the refs call it, it's just sometimes it's questionable. It really is, because it's like when a goaltend happens, that's when the ball is actually coming down, correct?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
some of the ones that no one does, that's not coming down. He's meeting them right there, and they're calling it. It's like, what are you watching?
But sometimes he gets it off the backboard. The ball hits the backboard, and then you block it. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't do that. If the ball hits the backboard, you got to leave it. But I don't really worry too much about it when he gets those goaltending calls. I just like, okay. I said before a long time ago on Leads in the Knicks podcast, coaching AAU, I've had players where I told them, if you see the ball look like it's going in the basket, like someone shot a layup, obviously not on a 3-point shot or a jumper, but someone shot a layup and the ball's going in and you're right there, knock it out.
That's
the
right.
referee might not call it. You might get away with it. Knock it out.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If we start to get a couple of goaltending calls, I'll tell you don't do it anymore. But if you see it and it looks like it's going in, knock that thing out of there.
Knock it out of there.
Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, because we were on the numbers topic. Just to add three stats, the Pelicans are 24th in 3-point attempts, 23rd in 3-point percentage, and they are 27th in defensive rating. So, that basically tells you that we should, pack the paint. If you ask me, and I would let him shoot those threes without Lonzo and Nikolaukas, Gilchrist and those guys. I would let him shoot about those threes and be worried more about getting those rebounds back and move out to the offense real faster. And their defense. No, I think it's because, Steven Adams is a really strong center, but he's not long and he's not, jumping, right? So, of course, he's way stronger and he's going to get those positions just to get those boards. But like you said, I think Nerlens could take a shot or two over him, and he's not going to go for the block even. Meanwhile, like we mentioned, Zion, he's not the biggest and the best defender out there. So I think Julius should also go, after him and try to get him in foul trouble.
Right.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm a little bit more nervous about Brandon Ingram than I am about Zion. And I'm not saying that to disrespect Zion at all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying that. I'm just looking at our team. I feel like Julius Randle is going to be at least a decent matchup for him. And Julius Randle is going to be a little bit motivated. He used to play for the Pelicans, and they drafted Zion. Yep. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, oh, you drafted my replacement. So he's going to be a little bit motivated there, I think. I'm a little bit more worried about Brandon Ingram because he's very elusive. He can really get loosey-goosey with the basketball if he wants to. He's long, he's lanky, he can pull up, he can knock it down from 3. He can score on all 3 levels of the game. And I'm just worried that, he's gonna, we're gonna throw Reggie Bullock at him, sometimes RJ, sometimes Alec Burks, and he's gonna make those guys work. So I'm a little bit worried about Brandon Ingram. Because I think that kid can ball. I'm not, and it's no disrespect to Zion at all. I just think that we have someone that can kind of match up against Zion. I'm not exactly sure if we have that matchup against Brandon Ingram.
We don't. And although if to the points that the panel made before, if we put Bullock on him, I think that's a good matchup from a defensive standpoint. But at the same time, we got to understand Bullock is going to be expending a lot of energy on the defensive side of the ball, so you can expect for him to be able to make that up on the offensive side.
Right.
So
right.
It's a give and take, right?
It's give and take.
So you have to figure out what you want the man to do, and then be able to supplement offense when he goes out of the game, when that rotation phase comes in. I would not be surprised tonight if we see Mr. Frank Ntilikina come in the game.
I don't say that. Don't get my hopes up, man. Don't get my hopes up.
I'm telling you right
my
now.
hopes up, man.
I'm looking.
Come on, man. I thought Dirt was in that rabbit hole, man. I thought Dirt was really in that rabbit hole, but I can see that that tunnel is still in there, man.
Listen, this is how you know what I'm telling you is true, right? So at the end of the games, the last two games, at the end of the game, Frank got a total of what? About 10 seconds worth of play?
15 seconds.
15 seconds worth of play. Right?
So, and we got 2 dubs. Imagine the impact Frank has, bro.
I'm trying to see where this is going. I really am.
So this is what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you some flowers. I'm going to give you some flowers. I'm not going to throw dirt on you right now. I'm going to give you some flowers.
I can't see the chat, but I know it's going crazy. But keep going.
What I'm saying is this. They're saying, please, no Frank.
See, I told you.
but this is what I'm saying, right? You have to look at it from this standpoint. Who allows you the best opportunity to win the game? If we're looking at this game from a defensive standpoint, you cannot discount Frank. We kill Frank on a day-to-day basis, right? We do. But when you look at if I tell you right now, Frank, all I need for you to do is go in here and stop Ingram. I need you to harass Ingram all night long. That's your total mission. I don't care if you get no points. Do you think Ingram going to have a good game? No. Frank got a wide wingspan, right?
Right.
So, this is, and it's not necessarily Frank, right? I'm using Frank as an example. It may not be Frank. It may be another player. But when you assign these players these defensive assignments,
yeah,
that's important. We are not going to outscore the Pelicans if we go basket for basket. That's not going to happen.
No.
Not for us, not for the Knicks. No. But if we go in from a defensive mindset, assign players to X player, and you switch off on them, right? So this is the player. Ingram's on the floor for, say, 20 minutes. But he had to play against two different players. Them fresh legs. So when I get to my 6-minute mark, you sub somebody else in, and I'm just as effective on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, but here's the thing. Will Tibbs use his resources? I'm not even going to say expand his rotation. Will he use his resources?
What I would tell you is this, and this is what I've seen from Tibbs over the course of the last couple games that we've had, right? Tibbs has opened his mind to a different rotation. He has done that. I've seen him do that. However, I'm not the coach. I don't know what the game plan is. I can tell you what I would do, but that's on the outside looking in. What I would say about Tibbs is this. He has shown the ability to be able to adjust based on how the game is progressing. And that's good news for me because at one point, I thought regardless of what went on, Tibbs is going to stick with whatever rotation he drew up the night before. He had a glass of Moet and went to sleep, and he came to work with that lineup in his mind, and nobody's going to shake him off of it. But he has shown that he's willing based on who's on the floor, what the opponent is doing, and what adjustments need to be made. And as long as he keeps that mindset, look, I'm telling you right now, the Knicks are a dangerous basketball team.
Absolutely.
And those teams that are out there in those higher echelon seeds, they don't want to see us. They don't want this smoke right here. I'm telling you right now, they do not want to see the Knicks prior to the playoffs, and definitely not in the playoffs. They don't want that.
I feel you on that one. I feel you on that one, man. My keys to the game for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, And actually, I brought up the projected starting lineup. So I don't have the keys to the game to show you because I brought up the wrong slide.
Malpractice.
Happens like that sometimes, man. Happens like that sometimes.
It's
I can tell
right.
you, I can tell you, I have it memorized. Right. One is team rebounding, right? We're playing one of the best defensive teams in the league. I mean, one of the best rebounding teams in the league. So we've got to have that good defensive team rebounding.
Let me ask you a question, Sim, and the panel as well. Is rebounding all about effort? Would you say?
No. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Sometimes it's about positioning.
Yeah, I would always say effort and positioning.
Right,
Yeah.
Positioning, boxing out.
Yep.
You know, understanding, watching the trajectory of the basketball, understanding where it may bounce. Right, so you know, there's a lot of things that go into rebounding the basketball. You know, but you know, team rebounding is always going to be, you know, one of the best ways to rebound. It's just one of the best ways to rebound because, you know, you have your entire team hitting the boards. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I make my teams when we're in practice, and you know, I make my teams run if everybody's foot ain't touching the paint. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, I put in.
Okay.
You know,
No,
I create. So as far as defensive rebounding, I create certain areas where I want players to be.
Okay.
Right. So I have 3 players who develop a wall down in the paint. Right. So you have one on one box, one on the other box, and then you have one in the middle. And they're not right on the box. They're a little bit right in the paint. And then I have another guard who's patrolling the foul line area. And then I have another guard who's patrolling the, you know, 3-point area. The guard that's patrolling the 3-point area. In the foul line area, they're there so that we can get those long, if someone shoots a long shot, you get those long rebounds, right? So when the shot goes up, one guy, he's near the 3-point area, he might be on the left side of the floor. The guy that's near the foul line area, he might be on the right side of the floor, but he's in the foul line area. So when that ball bounces off, they're ready to move to those spots to get the basketball. You know what I mean? And so a lot of it is about positioning, you know, where you put yourself on the floor, not just about effort. But effort is a big part of it as well, right? You gotta have effort if you're gonna go out there and try to rebound the basketball. If you're just gonna be lazy and think the ball is gonna bounce to you,
It's not happening.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen that way. You might as well forget it.
You gotta put a body on somebody. Everybody gotta put a body on somebody.
Exactly. You gotta put a body on somebody, you gotta fight, you gotta battle. You got to go out there and battle. You know what I mean? Another thing is, along with the team rebounding, is consistent, aggressive, and sustainable defense. Right? You know, we don't want to let these guys, like Zion Williamson is good at ducking in, right? You know, he'll be in that box area and the ball will be on the opposite wing. He'll duck in the middle. Boom, they find him and he's up. So we got to pay attention to all those little things. Right, so we got to play good, consistent, and sustainable defense for a 24-second shot clock if we need to, because they will move the ball and swing the basketball and make it difficult for us. We did a good job against the Lakers. We got to continue to do a good job against New Orleans. Like I said earlier, we need RJ and Zion to match off against Ingram, and I'm sorry, we need Randall and Zion to match up against Ingram.
Randall and RJ.
Yeah, Randall and RJ. See, maybe I did need to slide. We need Randall and RJ to match up against Zion and Ingram.
Sam, how old are you? You 45, man? You
I'm
ain't 50 yet
45,
like
man.
me.
I'm 45.
Okay, all right. Catching up, bro.
You know, tell me about it. We need Randall and RJ to match up against Zion and Ingram, okay?
Right.
Or let me say Ingram, Zion, whichever one, however. But we need them guys to match their production. I think we got to match their production. Offensively, I think we got to move the ball, right? We need ball movement, man movement. They have a weak defense. Like Andy said, 27th ranked in the league. They have a weak defense. So we got to keep that ball moving, make their defense work, make them have to play defense. If we come down one pass, one shot, we're not making them have to play defense. Force them to have to play defense. If we force them to have to play defense, we'll find holes in their defense.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And then, of course, that fourth quarter execution. You know, I'm going until we, you know, I know we've done it for a couple of games, but until we keep doing it, fourth quarter execution. And if I can get my slide up, I'll get my slide up. So I can prove to you that, yes, that is exactly what I had, and I did remember it. Just got some names mixed up, that's all. Just got some names mixed up.
It's all good. It's all good.
All good in the hood.
You know?
So what I would say, Sims, is this. To your point, and in my opinion, and some of my takes will be identical to what you just said, but there are fundamental aspects of the game that we must make sure that we accomplish tonight. One, to your point, rebounding. We have to make sure that we do not allow the Pelicans to have second and third chances on their offensive boards. So we have to be good at the defensive rebounds and get the ball back up the court. That's number one. Number two, we have to limit the amount of turnovers we have in our skill set. So whoever's in the game and whatever the game plan is, we have to make sure that we limit those turnovers. The third thing would be free throws for me. So when you go to the candy stripe, they're free. We can't afford to be missing free throws because those are free points that could be monumental as we get to the fourth quarter, right? And we know I've always said, and if anybody's seen me on any other pod, I was leaving you alone, but boy, every time I try to get out, they keep pulling me back in, right? I'm not going to fall for it.
You ain't Michael Corleone, all right? Remember that.
What I would say, don't you mess around and wake up in the morning, you have fish heads in your bed. Don't
and it was a horse.
No, I know it was a horse, but I'm going to say you fish heads. they cheat.
All right, go ahead with your point.
But what I would say is, you made me forget my train of thought. What was I talking about? Oh my God! So when we get down to
free throws,
the free throws, and going into transition baskets, that's where I get third quarter. That's why I was going. Third quarter has always been our team's Achilles heel. For whatever case may be, we always give up leads in the third quarter. Last game, we started to give up leads, but towards the end of the third quarter, we started to regain what was going on. And I think that had a lot to do with the turnovers that the Lakers were giving us at the end of the third quarter, honestly. But we tend to have a bad third quarter, which puts us in a bad predicament when we go into the fourth quarter. So I hope our third quarter play tonight is different. I hope we figured out how to not give up a lead. I think that at the end of the first quarter, we will have a lead going into the third and hope to maintain the lead. Again, hope is not a strategy, but I would like to see that happen. And then the last point I will make is this. Whenever we travel, there's always a perimeter player that no one accounts for that torches us. So that guy that has a 2 for 19 shooting average comes out and has a career shooting night against the Knicks because of our perimeter defense. So those things right there is things that I hope that we can kind of overcome. And that puts us back into the box to say that I have my two bigs against your two bigs, and let's see who's the best. Let's see who comes out smelling like rose.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I only add that that neither Netherlands, no Randall, nor Taj even they can afford any cheap fouls, ticky-tack fouls this game. Facts. Any other game, I don't care, but this game, I don't think we can afford even one extra foul. That's we know that the refs are gonna call at least one or maybe two fouls from out of nowhere. But I rather those fouls get called on the perimeter guys than on Randall or Netherlands, and we know that Netherlands is gonna contest those dunks. Mm-hmm. So he has to get on that poster better than get in foul trouble.
I agree with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I have my keys to the game on the screen. Yes, they are on the screen. And you can see I did not forget. I had it right. Team rebounding, sustained defense, Ball movement against a weak defense. Randall and RJ match up against Ingram and Zion, and late game execution. I had it, ladies and gentlemen. I had it. The memory is still there. I had it.
Great minds think alike.
I had it. You know, if we could do those things, man, I think we really give ourselves a chance to win this basketball game tonight. If we can do those things out there on the floor, of course, you know, there's always going to be, you know, each game takes on a life of its own. So something new, something will happen in the game that maybe you didn't game plan for, that you're going to have to figure out, okay, how do we address this or attack this? Looking forward to it being a good game, and I'm looking forward to the Knicks, you know, getting that fourth win. That fourth straight win. It'll be the first time this season that we've done it, and it'll be the perfect timing for it. And if we can get this one, we play them again in a couple of days. If we can get this one, then we play them at home in a couple of days. You know, we'll have the upper hand of being home and hopefully protecting home court. So, you know, I want this game. I really do. I want this game.
No doubt.
I want this game for us, man. I want to give a shout out to D-Dub. He said, I still haven't seen highlights of us beating the Lakers, but they were getting killed in the postgame show for taking us lightly. Hate equals respect. New Knicks. Hey, you know what? I hope everybody takes us lightly. Take us lightly. Take us lightly. That's what we want, because when this defense comes out, you know, it punches everybody in the mouth, I think. You know what I mean? And of course, sometimes the Knicks come out and they lay an egg offensively in the first quarter. You know what I mean? And it's like the score is like 21-17. You know what I'm saying, or something crazy like that. But I'm expecting a fun, good game tonight. Remember, the game starts at 8 p.m. tonight, ladies and gentlemen. You can see it on ESPN, and it's on station BSNO in New Orleans. So if you're from New Orleans, you didn't know where to watch the game, now you do. I do want to give a shout out to my man Uncle Fulio, and I want to say this, man. Like, you know, Uncle Fulio did his last show. Look at Kev shaking his head. He did his last show.
Man.
And there's some people mad at Uncle Fulio for his take.
Yeah,
and there's some people that's telling me, hold up, Kev. There's some people that's telling me, hey, Sim, stop letting Uncle Fulio have a show. So you want me to stop letting Uncle Fulio have a show because you don't agree with him? Is that really what you're telling me right now, ladies and gentlemen?
No,
and I'm not talking to everybody. I'm not talking to everybody. I'm talking to those people who have made those comments. Well, let me tell you something. I'm not going to stop it because I love the fact that he has people that disagree with him. That's the whole purpose of the controversy.
Facts.
Okay. So now I have to ask you.
Yeah.
Did you agree with his comments from last night's his last night's show?
I didn't agree. I didn't agree with everything that he said.
Okay.
No, but he's not doing.
That's what I want to get at.
But he's not doing it for me to agree with him.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
He's not doing it for me to agree with him.
True.
You know, when we talked about doing it, I said, hey, you say what you want, whether or not I agree or disagree. You say what you want.
Okay, so I can tell you right now. Myself and the person down below, he doesn't agree with what was said last night.
That's cool. And people are not supposed. I'm just saying, people are not supposed to agree with everything that anybody says. But to say like, yo, Sam, don't give him a show. He's bringing down the quality.
Yeah, that's
come
crazy.
On,
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. That's not.
Get out of here.
The beauty of this type of platform is this, right? So think about how many times you've been sitting at home watching the TV and somebody on the TV, a newscaster or whoever it is, just say some outlandish stuff and you sitting there cussing the TV out. And you can't get no feedback, right? Mm-hmm. This type of platform right here is built to breed people to be able to have a platform to be able to express their opinions. We agree to disagree. As long as we do it respectfully, we agree to disagree. And that's what it's all about at the end.
Yeah.
That's it. You know, that's what it's all about. So, you know, for someone to say, hey, don't let him do any more videos.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Yeah, that's yeah.
You know?
Shout out to Fulio.
Yeah, shout out to Fulio. I love him,
shout
man.
out to Fulio, man.
Love him, man.
Shout out to Fulio. Anyway, man, I'm going to head out. Looking forward to a great game tonight. It's going to be fun. Again, ladies and gentlemen, like I told you before, go ahead and put up all the stuff, all the cushion on your walls and protect your remote control. Still waiting on that invention from Andy, for the TV screen, to protect your TV screen. Do all of that stuff. Close the door. Make your kids put on headphones. Your wife or husband put on headphones tonight so you can curse and scream and let it out. Let it all out, because it might be another one of those games tonight. It might be another one of those games tonight, man.
How do you think Obi? How do you think Obi will do tonight?
Obi's gonna be a star tonight. I'm here to tell you right now. You heard it here first on Sim's Pod. So I'm telling you right now, Obi will have at least 8 points and 3 rebounds tonight. That's my prediction for Obi. Obi, my man. If y'all ain't figured it out right now, Obi's my guy. So
I hope he does.
When Obi turns into Julius, I'm gonna be standing on top of the mountain, beating my chest like King Kong.
Listen. Here's the thing. He's the only guy on our team right now, but Mitch isn't on the team, that can provide us with some electricity.
Yeah, facts. Yeah. That's facts.
Right, and he's been doing that the past couple of games, and we need that from him. We need those electric moments that get the team jumping up off the bench.
Yep,
right, we need those things. So I hope he can continue to bring that. Because listen, they got somebody in Zion that can bring the electricity. We need to bring some electricity ourselves.
Yep, that's a fact. Yeah. And that's my man Obi. So Sam, before you close up, I just want to thank you for having me on the panel. I appreciate it. And this won't be my last.
Will this be the last time? Will this be the last time?
If you shut your mouth. I'm about to tell you what's about to happen, right? So be seen and not heard. So what I would say is this won't be my last time. And again, I appreciate you having me on the panel.
Hey, I appreciate you being here, man. It's a pleasure. Much fun. Anyway, I'll get some last words. I guess I got my last words from G, man. Let me get it from Andy and then Kev. Then we can get up out of here. Go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, let's hope the winning streak is going to be on tonight and Friday and even longer. So let's cross our fingers and hope this is going to be a dub.
Yeah, let's get it, man. Kev?
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, man. You should be thanking me. That person should be thanking me. Because he's been trying hardest as heck to get on this panel. So
I have.
Thanking me.
Facts.
But I will leave that alone. I'm not going to do that to him. No, I hope we not hope. I think we're going to do well tonight. I know we'll win the game. I think we'll win it by maybe 10 points, and we'll push this to Friday, because I know I know the game tonight, but I know that they want to get their revenge on Friday against Dallas. So, because
you know they got a sour taste in their mouth after that Dallas game that they lost.
Absolutely,
they do.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I'm pretty sure they want that one. All right, hey, I appreciate it. Cat, bring the dusty hat back. You know what I'm saying? Bring the dusty hat back. I like that hat.
Y'all rolled on it too much. Y'all rolled on it too much.
Bring the dusty hat back.
I'm gonna bring another one now. Y'all started this.
Did anybody make that Twitter account? Kev's Dusty Hat? Kev's Dusty Knicks hat? If not, then I might have to make it then.
Hey, these two right here will do that. That's the problem. What you saying that? They will do that.
I might have to make that Twitter account, man. I might have to.
Look at here.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you all for being here tonight, today, this afternoon. I'm about to head up out of here. At the top of your YouTube chat, there's a link to Uncle Fulio's video on Charles Oakley and whether or not Charles Oakley deserves to have his jersey retired and the whole controversy with James Dolan and all of that. So go check it out. If you don't like it, then I guess you don't like it. This is all good. You don't like his opinion, I don't know what to tell you. But go ahead and go check it out, ladies and gentlemen. It's pinned to the top of your YouTube chat. And yes.
Talk about Stephanie's show for the Friday.
Yes, definitely. On Friday, Steph's The Queen's Court is going to debut on Friday. You guys are going to love it, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be dope. Friday at 5 p.m. You should have got a notification for it. All right, so make sure that you check us out on Friday. That's going to be super duper dope. And look, I'm getting out of here, ladies and gentlemen. I will catch you about 10:45 tonight. That's when we do the post-game show. And I'll see y'all then. Be peaceful. Spread love, ladies and gentlemen.